Record
from.
it. Okay.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, you're
Uh,
good.
my name is Kelly Lavelle. I am from Austining, New York. I joined this business, it'll be 2 years. I can't believe it. I guess I'm an oldie, but goodie now, OG. And I started the end of April 2017. And right before that, it was actually around this time. We were coming up on Easter. I had had my second set of twins the July before. And I had a condition. I had a thyroid condition, actually. I had hypothyroid. I was on medication when I was pregnant, but I hated it. So 2 weeks before my babies were born, I took myself off and I left the hospital with them and literally gained 40 pounds. And I'm a longtime yoga instructor, vegetarian, always pretty health conscious, but that was so uncomfortable for me. And I was sitting at that weight. I'm only 5'2", so carrying around an extra 40 or 50 pounds was not comfortable. I was in a ton of pain. I was tired. I was miserable. And I was like, okay, first of all, I don't want to end up like my mother. And second of all, I just had two sets of twins. Like, I'm kind of badass and I wasn't really feeling it. So um, I really wanted to get myself back. And I knew it was going to take me 2 years, 4 yoga classes a day, 7 days a week to do that. And I didn't have that kind of time. And I was like, not even trying to twist my body at that point. And at the same time, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or now I'm a work-at-home mom, but I was a stay-at-home mom. And even though, my spouse did really well and was able to provide for the six of us, it was getting really stressful. And I felt like I didn't want to cause her any more pain. And it was starting to show up physically in her body. Her father died and some physical symptoms were happening. And I just thought, like, how can I take pressure off? And one day I was driving. I actually couldn't even pay for gas. And I was like, I can't ask for money. It just wasn't my deal. And I thought, how many hours am I going to have to work at Starbucks to make an extra money for gas and groceries? And I thought, wow, that's a belief system. Like, how could I work all day long and then my babies go to bed and I go to work? Like, that's not happening. And I caught myself thinking it took a certain amount of hours to make a certain amount of money. And I thought, if that's a belief system, like, there has to be something on the other side. And as I felt that, like, here I am praying to God driving, and I felt like a breakthrough, and I heard $100,000 a month, and I felt complete freedom. I was like, okay, show me, like, show me how. And 3 days later, I saw an ad on Facebook. Danielle Boyle, who I didn't even know how we were friends, she must have friended me about almost a year before. And she said, anybody want to make an extra $200 to $500 a month from their phone? And it felt like all this light around it. And I was like, that's it. And I jumped in. I emailed her. I was like, how do I sign up? What is it? Is it a scam? No, it's not a scam. Here's my link. And then I was like, well, what's this, BS with an auto ship? You guys are trying to screw me. And she's like, nope, you can turn it off. It's not a big deal. And I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go for it, I'm going for it. So I jumped in. And I was a random 400 bucks on their chart. They were working towards triple at the time, or they had just gone, they were just about to go triple the end of April that year, which I didn't even know what that meant. And one, like 2 or 3 days in, Ben texted me and was like, who are you? You signed up like 16 customers and distributors. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't know. He's like, well, you got to move it and you got to do all this stuff. So lo and behold, I went Ruby in like 5 days. And in the next month, even though my goal was triple diamond, I went diamond in 30 days. So that was really fun. I got the $10,000 bonus, and I was averaging $2,500 a month out the gate with this company, and I felt like it was good. But I jumped in for 100,000 a month, so I kept going. I was built for triple by July with that $999 deal. I went double in November. I got a $15,000 bonus, which I didn't even know I was going for that. It was just kind of showed up in my e-suite. And then a year in, I went triple. So that was great. Triple for me, was like VIP. And then I crashed. And I crashed because in this business, and I'm a personal development person, I've been doing it for 20 years, so that doesn't come with any kind of resistance with me. But I've always been a survivor. So if you put something in my plate, I can make anything happen. But I was always acting out of fear, doubt, insecurity, unworthiness, and all of those things. So when I went triple, which, by the way, I really did with one other person working. She was on here before, but this was like right before Andrea really got started. And I actually even really had much of a team. That was running in that way. So if you think that like your team isn't working or you're doing this by yourself or no one's doing anything, if you have a goal, a dream, or a wish on your heart, you go no matter what. I mean, I signed up over 500 personal enrolled distributors and just filled in boxes. So if I can do it with 4 kids running around under the age of 5, you can too. And so I went triple and I hit that place of like all my deepest insecurities and wounds kind of coming to the surface, which is not really comfortable, but I was really aware that it was happening. And I was, still working my business. I mean, I was waking up every first of the month feeling like such a failure, even if I enrolled 58 customers and 12 distributors. Like I was still feeling like not good enough. And finally, I started to get to the root of that in December. And December was a big turning point for me. I really got a great support system in place. I was doing a ton of praying and a ton of self-development. And then something started to change. It started to feel like those wounds started to heal, that I am worthy, that I do love people, that my servant genius is all the things that I'm really good at in this business. So I started to shift from feeling like I don't know how to lead into changing my focus from, yes, I have dreams and goals, but focusing on my team, who was working, who was hungry, who was resistant, who was coming up against their stuff, and shifting it into what do you want, and pouring life into my team. And so December was a big turning point. We went to conference and there was still kind of like some newbies there and some other things going on. And Christina, one of the girls we went to conference with, was like 400 BB away from Ruby on the 31st of conference. And I looked at her and I was like, all right, we traveled together. You're with me. You're not ending this night without promoting. I was like, I'm going to place a couple with you. We're going to work together and you go get the volume. And sure enough, like she promoted that day. And I thought, this is what it's all about. Like, I need to believe in my distributors, work hand in hand with them. And I have to say, March 31st is my most favorite day in this company because I didn't necessarily promote. And, presidential is a different level, but Andrea went diamond. She got her husband to diamond. Her best friend went diamond. Steph went double. We popped a couple rubies. We popped a couple emeralds. And I just thought, this is what it's all about for me right now, is really focusing and pouring into my team. And yes, enrolling and doing all the things that I need to do. So working my own personal business. And then also, I probably finished my steps to success, I think 6 times last month. And so that on top of supporting them to do the same. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm really excited because I think this month we're working on 6 diamonds, 4 doubles, 2 triples, presidential, and just changing lives. $20,000 in bonuses, like Andrea will tell you, is a game changer. That's like, that's significant income. It's over probably $8,000 to $10,000 worth of checks coming for the next 10 months. And that, until of course she goes double this month, but that meant everything to me. And so I'm so excited to share about it. And I love it. It works. They say it and keep saying it, but this is such rare air. We're making history with a company, and this only happens in a company like this. It happened, they said, a few years ago, but this really happens once. And if you're not catching the fire and running with it, you are missing out, because 600 million to a billion, anybody can take that chunk. So we just have to really decide. That's me.
I muted it for the baby, but yes, Kelly, you're awesome. You are so awesome. Oh my gosh. You can unmute yourself. I'm still new to this whole thing.
My team is killing it right now, and I'm so proud of them. I'm just like, they're finally, that belief, when you can shift that belief into like, I see you, I've got you, let's go. That is everything, and has really, really changed the name of the game for my team, for sure.
Yeah, no, that is huge. That is so huge. So I like how you were saying at the beginning, your biggest thing that your first question was the auto shipment. And I feel like that is some people, that's what they first say is, what about the auto shipment and how much is it going to cost? So how did you handle that? I mean, you went diamond so fast. So for you, that must have been like an issue for a few hours and then you got over it. So how did you see that? How do you explain that now?
What I always like to be upfront with the people that join with me. And what I was comfortable with was that we have two ways of getting commission qualified. You can either have 150 in volume, personal volume, or you can have an 80 BV auto ship. So I actually didn't even set mine up. Oh, P.S. I got on the system and I lost 30 pounds in 2 weeks. Oh. So that was a huge level up, like a leveling factor for me and my business, because I was on fire and everything was happening. Then the keto coffee came out, I lost another 10. Then the Thermophyte X comes out and my hormones balance. It was like the craziest thing. Right. So I didn't actually set up my auto ship until August. I joined in April and I was so resistant, guys, like auto ship scares people. It scares me, and I'm in this company. Like that is just the weird psychological things, just like MLM has a.
No, I stopped recording. I don't know how that happened, but you're good. It paused for a second.
I like to rip off the Band-Aid and pull up the veil, and as much as I can, because there's so much information to begin with, that with the auto ship, I like to explain you can have either or, and I didn't set mine up until August, but you want to make sure that you have 150 in sales. And if you have 100, then you put in $50, or at some point you're going to want to set up your auto ship anyway, because you want to be on the stuff. But once people join in and like are really invested, that's like minimal. So that's kind of what I talk about. In the E-Suite too, I don't like to slap people with $20 fees then they get mad. So I just say it's optional. And when your business is new and if you're not really working it, we turn it off and I can see everything and kind of help you get started. And so if people are interested, they keep it open. If not, and they need help, then I help them. But that's kind of how I deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. That is super awesome. I like it. And so you said you got 16 LCs. Like, what was that in your first? What was that?
I think like less than 18 hours or something.
Oh,
it was crazy.
My gosh.
I just posted about the cleanse and people jumped, like they leapt. But I have to say, every single promotion that I have ever had was mindset. And so I was literally ignorance on fire when I started. I didn't care. I was signing up everybody. And my script when I started was, I'm going to the top of this company. Do you want to come with me? Because I know I am. Did it happen in my time frame? No. And that's another thing is we have to get over ourselves in thinking like, oh, well, I didn't go ambassador in 4 months. This business must not be for me. And believe me, like I went there a couple times and then I just stopped and said, look, God brought this into my life. Show me a sign if I'm meant to still be here and this is where you want me. Show me. And I kid you not, that was in September. And within 20 minutes, I got a random text from Mark. It was the craziest moment because it was like Mark Pentecost texted me like on a messenger, and he's like, "Hey, Cal, I just want to cheer you on, leading from the front. You're like brand new and you're doing great, kiddo. Keep it up." And I was like, all right, well, that's like pretty much a sign. Like, that's
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
And I think like a few hours later, Cammie texted me too. So it was kind of like one of those things I always wondered. And then I watched a Zoom with Brianne, I can't ever say her last name, Bajernis or something. And she said that, you know, this business is not a sprint. It really is a marathon. And if you can make in 3 to 5 years $50,000 a month, would it be worth it? And I was like, you know what? I can take a deep breath and follow through on this business, because even if it takes me that kind of time to get there, like 2 years in, to be averaging over between my spouse and I $10,000 a month for our family, that in and of itself is a game changer, you know. And I didn't get in this for you know, an extra 500. Like, I want legacy changing money, and it's starting to happen. And to be in the dream and follow that journey and be writing the story of my experience with It Works and my life, that's what it's all about. It's not about, oh, well, you know, I didn't get where I wanted to be and I blah blah blah. It's really about the journey here, and that's phenomenal. It's really fun.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've been in 2 years, and so there's definitely been a lot of changes, and that's what I think I'm realizing, is that everybody has a different starting point, and it's just working with each individual person on wherever they're coming from, because I know that I am not the same person today that I was when I first started, and that's what's kept me in, is just every day I'm learning something new. I get to meet amazing people like you, Kelly.
Oh, it was so good to meet you at conference.
It's been awesome. Yeah, meeting you at conference that was my huge sign. I am so glad that I met you. So, and then Diamond in 30 days, that's insane. So do you think you were doing anything different then than you're doing now?
That's a good question, actually. No, I think I was doing everything. I was messaging, posting. I wasn't doing the host to post. So host to post is definitely, I was still mass enrolling, I think, at that time, because obviously, you know, I had to. But I think that's the only thing different, other than really working with my team. You know, like back then I was like, sign up and I'll take you with me. And I was, you know, up late at night making money for people in their sleep. And now I'm up with teammates and we're all making money for everybody in their sleep. And that like changes everything. It's so nice to have a team and to work together for a greater good. That has meant everything. But like I was saying, every time I promoted, it was mindset. You know, when I went Diamond, I think the day I promoted, 2 days before I promoted, the end of May, I needed still like 3 or 4 distributors. And at that time, that was the old chart. So it was like 24, 26 distributors or something. And I got them. And then I was 1,000 BB the day of and got it, you know. When I went double, it was kind of a similar situation. I don't really remember, but that time for me was learning charting, because I was like, Ben used to do all my charting because I was like just enrolling like a crazy person, so I didn't have time to learn. And so they were in Italy when I promoted in November, and I just pulled my charts out and put it together and made it happen. And then triple for me was I listened to Earl Nightingale every single day, so that was awesome. I only did mindset work and really just was kind of like following this running feeling to like the end zone of triple. And the end of that month, I was attacked so bad by the enemy, or whatever you want to call it. I really was challenged. I ended up being attacked by my family. It was crazy. It was like 3 days before the end of the month. I needed 12,000 in volume. Everything was wrong. And I was out in Long Island with my kids by myself with my family attacking me. And I thought, oh my God, I'm promoting. I got to go home. So I like turned on my heels, went home, and I promoted like with wind in my wings, like in my sails. It was an unbelievable experience. So since then, I think my mindset, because of all those challenges, was not on wasn't in the right place. And even in September, trying to get Steph to double and get the promotion and get the bonuses, it just wasn't there. And I was not stuck, but I was rolling around in this place of growth. And this month, it was like a rising tide, and I could just feel it was so different. It was just such a different experience, and it was really, really beautiful. So I think I have never not worked my business every day. I have never not posted. I have never not messaged. I've never not reached out. I've never not built my network. I have over 5,000 friends 5,000 friends on Facebook over and over and over a couple times. And I just did all of the things and am pushing to do all the things to get to where I want us to be. And just consistency. And Cami talks about an 18-month tipping point, that if you work your business high intensity, high energy, high grit for 18 months every day, you'll experience a tipping point. And I thought, I hope I get there. I tucked that in the back of my head and just put my head down and kept going. And sure enough, like 2 days or yesterday or 2 days ago, I had out of the blue 8 people text me to sign up with the business, and 6 people sign up with really big orders. And it just started to kind of flood in, and that felt like, wow, I must have hit that tipping point. So that was really cool.
Wow. You're amazing. So did I hear that right? You got 12,000 in volume in 3 days. Is that what you said? That's insane.
That's God money.
Oh my gosh.
That was definitely that like, I just listened and ran, because I didn't do anything different those 3 days. I don't remember doing it. It was just quite bright and magical, and God flooded in for sure. But we could be resistant when we get attacked. And I listen to my distributors all the time about anything negative, anything traumatic, anything kind of annoying or a pain in the neck. That's just the enemy. And I could have taken, my family blew up. Like, I had to walk away from them, and still we're not close. But it was what I needed to do for something my whole life, to have my own freedom. And that, even though it was difficult, was one of the biggest steps of my journey. And I think, I was faithful. And that's what I've been experiencing a lot of, is that this blind faith and just willingness to go anyway comes with such unbelievable abundance and gifts and victory. So that is an amazing experience, because I've never felt the other side of faith. I've just always put my head down and survived. And that's a different experience. It's really gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah. That's incredible. I definitely think that this business takes so much of that. I feel like it exposes your weaknesses in ways that you could never imagine. And it takes it to another level where you just feel like it's hard to make those pushes in those uncomfortable spots, but when you do, you grow in ways that you didn't even think you needed to grow. Like you're saying, you had to walk away from your family. It's something that you needed to do, but in the midst of it all, like sometimes you just don't realize you need those things. You need those like growth spurts.
Yes, absolutely. And this business will definitely do that. It will grow us.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So as far as that goes, as far as growing, how do you encourage your team to get comfortable being uncomfortable?
Well, I think I can kind of have a sense when they're coming up against their resistance. I had a healing practice for many years. So when I feel that with them, sometimes I let them sit in it. And then I'm like, do you need a kick in the ass or do you need a hug? Like, what's going on? Sometimes we have to let people incubate. And I know, I'm sure Andrea will probably mention this when she's ready to talk too, but, as a leader, as an enroller, a support, I don't like to think of myself as like leading from the front, because I really like to support my team to be who they are and kind of come to the surface and grow. And it's difficult to watch and hold and support somebody in that process when you see so much in them, but it's on their time and it's in their own way. But once they start to crack, break, and then open, if they do, and if they take that challenge and they allow it, there is nothing more magnificent. And so I kind of push, and I do check people, like when they're up against their stuff or they're kind of, naggy about little things. I name it. I'm like, that's the enemy. Like, you're being pushed because, you're growing and this is happening and you're in that crucible. Like it's that high heat, high pressure. Diamonds are not made by fluffy clouds. That's like that high intensity, and that happens in this business. So if you think you're just in business for business, like, you're missing the free self-development and growth that's available to us. And so I definitely am always aware of that and conscious of bringing that in, mostly because I do that for myself and I talk about growth a lot. But I'm always talking to my leaders and people that I see about, hey, you just joined this business and you got into a car accident and your kids are sick and like you're rupturing. Like, that's called a rupture right before you're stepping into something really big. You said yes, and you're good. If you hit resistance that soon in the business, you must be made for glorious things. Let's go. Some of them do, some of them think I'm crazy, but if you watch it, you can see, we don't experience like little bits of life. There's a lot of light in this company and a lot of darkness. I want to keep it down. So
yeah. Yeah. That's insane. That is an awesome way to look at it, though, because I've had that with distributors that join and all of a sudden everything falls apart, and it's like that can be your reason to quit or your reason to push. It's like it's a huge thing. So,
and it's where most people quit.
Yeah.
And it's such a shame because that's the point of the greatest growth, and the greatest blessings is right on the other side of that. So people don't realize, but when they do, the payoff is so sweet.
You're amazing, Kelly. You're so amazing. That is so cool. That's an awesome
You got it. You're awesome. I love being in touch with you. You're great. I know your team is really lucky.
Well, you just have such a different way of looking at things, and I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate like the different perception on things. It's cool. So what would your advice be for, I would not consider us to be mass enrollers. How do we become, what do you tell people to become mass enrolling, or, just to get to that level?
I think the only thing that I am probably doing different is talking to more people. And it really is the numbers game. If I send out 100 messages and 2 people order BOGO wraps, and you send out 10 and nobody does, it's only because I sent out more. Yeah. It's not because I say anything magical. It's not because people, love me. I'm sure they think like, oh, there she goes again with her wraps and whatever. But, I just have a fearless experience with reaching out to people, and I really don't care because I know what I have my hands on. I know it saved my life. So it's easy for me to have that. And I definitely think if you're not host to posting right now, in the old days of network marketing, we had to make cold calls. Like, I sold knives when I was 19. I had to make cold calls at 19 years old. I was calling random weird people on the phone. Like, that's so much harder than sending out a ton of messages for host to post. So I would just say, and I always think of, something else. I was just talking to one of my DTs who was like, I'm so excited. Someone just lost 5 pounds on Thermophyte X and is getting the cleanse. And I was like, I was waiting, like, did you also sell BOGO wraps? Because that's awesome with the cleanse. Like, she wants to lose 20 pounds next week. Like, why not? So I mentioned that. But I think the way that I always think is, I always like to ask questions. So I like to bring in a lot of volume. The other day I brought over $800 in volume from those 6 people. Wow. And, I like to upgrade because our stuff works great together. And I like filling 400 boxes really quick. So I would just say, have faith in your product, have faith in your business. And if you're only talking to a certain number of people, and Joel Dunn says this, but you might have to talk to 200 people to get an order. And if that's the case, talk to 200 people every day. And eventually it'll be 150 people and you get 2 orders, or it'll be 100 people and you get 10 orders. And so that tipping point again really starts to happen. Now I can get 10 to 12 host-a-posts out a day. And if I'm doing that every single day, my volume floods. Like, it's just one of those things. Messaging 200 people felt very overwhelming to me, because I couldn't count them and then keep up. And with the kids, that's just extra. But I can get out 10 to 12 to 20 host-a-posts a day. That feels like a to-do list for me. So if you want to mass enroll, do it. And don't be afraid if people say, oh, I don't have the money. Well, we have a great business. We just earned over $45,000 in bonuses. Do you want to make some? So I always offer, and if they say no, I'm walking away with something, whether it's an order, a distributor, or a host-a-post. And if they don't, I just move on. I don't get hung up on no. I don't really care if they don't want to. It doesn't hurt my feelings. And if they blast me, I'm kind of I laugh at them, because they're not where I want to be. So it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That is so awesome. And okay, this is my last question, because I am anxious to hear from Andrea. How do you do it with the kids?
My life is a SHIT show all day long. I've got 4 kids. One of them is always naked. They're dirty. They're jumping. They're climbing, which is normal in my house anyway. But then on top of it, I'm, as Andrea or Steph was calling me today, I'm so ADD with this business, because I want to be focused and I have so much going on. And I just accept that that's how it is right now. Will it get better or worse? I don't know. I think as your team grows, I'm noticing now, I don't have to work as hard to get people excited about the business, which was taking a lot of energy from me. And now I just feel like we're excited. We touch base, we enroll, we're working together, and I have more hands going and more things happening. And, I put my phone down when my kids are around, and I take the time, but I also will pick it up, answer people real quick, and do it. So I don't really do much time management. When they're in school, I put my head down and I work. And I work my business a lot. I mean, I have big dreams and goals, and it becomes very addictive and obsessive if you're like me and just love this. And then when they go to bed, I'm up late. I work sometimes until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning from my bed on my phone. It's the easiest thing. And I put it down, I go to sleep, and I wake up, and the first thing I think about is, let me post something real quick. I open my business. It's open. We are ready. Who wants some? So I'm not good with the time management thing, but I do when they're home in the evening. I kind of put my phone down and I really do, all the evening stuff, and they know I'm working, and they see it. And, that I think is really important for kids too, is to know mommies work hard, and we can have what we want, but it takes work. It takes grit. So hopefully I'm instilling some level of value and a whole lot of crazy.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, 4 kids, that's a lot. I have 3 boys, so I can only imagine. I know it's a lot. Definitely a lot.
It's fun, but
yeah.
Listen, when your why is bigger than your complaints, I have 0 to complain about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Very lucky.
Yes, that's awesome. You got to do a day in the life for us.
I thought about that. I really think that someone should come to my house and do
yes.
What are those reality shows? I'm still waiting for the call, because my life, people would get such a kick out of it. It's crazy.
That'd be awesome. And in the middle of the night, it should go all the way through and just speed through the middle of the night, so that you can also see that there's very little sleep happening.
Yeah, close to none.
Yeah.
Except when I take collagen now I'll sleep tonight.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. No excuses. There is no excuse to not make this business work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because a lot of life happens, and life happens to all of us. I've had stress, kids with sick and in and out of the hospital, and tubes in the ears, and hearing aids breaking, and and getting new beds for everybody. And I'm still working my business. There's time. That's the best thing, is you're on it anyway.
Yeah.
make some money and get some people healthy. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So
All right. Well, Kelly, thank you so much. Now I'll let you introduce your.
yay. Well, this is my dear, dear friend, Andrea. So actually, I met Andrea on a Hosta post.
Oh,
My friend posted for me about the business. It was something like, my friend Kelly's looking for someone who wants to make a $5,000 bonus. It was last year. And um, she texted me and was like, "What's this all about?" And I was like, "Oh, blah, blah, blah." And she was, she was just like me, a little bit skeptical, but curious. We just started talking, and I was actually hosting an OTOM that weekend. And I thought, why don't you come? And she was like, well, my brother did this a few years ago, and it didn't work for him, and he lost a lot of money. And I was like, well, it's free to come. Or it was like, yeah, for guests, it was free. And I was like, just come. I'd love to meet you. So she came, and you know, she came in her jacket and zipped up and really like, when you meet someone's like that's really super like ice blocked. Like, I'm not letting you in here. And I have kind of a way to melt the ice like quick. So I kind of like nuzzled up against her and brought my arm around her in the picture and, had her in a few tears before she was leaving, and she signed up, which was so awesome. And, this woman has so much passion and so much grit, and her why, I'm sure she'll share with you, is like any one of us as a stay-at-home mom, was to have her own nest and not have to ask anybody else for money or worry about anything. And she is a spitfire. She went Ruby real fast. She got her husband a Ruby real fast, and then found her way and just promoted to diamond and got her husband's diamond and her best friend a diamond. And, it was just popping diamonds for those last 24 hours. And I'm just so proud of her. And that's that breaking point. She never quit. And she came up against herself quite a bit in the last 8 or 9 months. And then something just turned on for her, and she went for it, and she's a force to be reckoned with when she works it. So I am so honored and proud to introduce my friend Andrea, and just congratulations. What a win. $20,000 last month for her family, game changing. So
Thank you. Thank you. I am very nervous, so just bear with me. Yeah, Kelly pretty much said it. I found myself, I am a teacher by trade. I have a degree in teaching. I spent many years in special ed, working with special ed needs. And I moved back here and started doing advocate work and tutoring, and I was working a lot, and I had a lot of clients, and I had a really nice network going, and I had my second daughter and decided it was just too much. I really wanted to be home. My girl, my firstborn was 3 at the time, and then I had this new one, and it was too much. So I backed off little by little, and at some point I had only a couple of kids that I was tutoring at that point, and it was last year, January of 18, I found myself in a position where there were all of these things that I wanted to do. I wanted all of these things, and I just needed $5,000, and I did not want to say to my husband, look, I need $5,000 because I want to do this and I want to do this, because he would have seen it as frivolous, not needless. We don't need that. And so I was going, what could I do? I could pick up more clients, I could tutor more, but that's going to take me out of the house from 3 to 7, 8 every day. So that's when my other one's getting off the bus, my little one's going down for a nap. So I have to hire somebody to do these things for me because I'm not going to be there to do it. So is it worth it for me to go get more clients to tutor and be away and pay somebody, or what can I do? So this post shows up, earn $200 to $500 a month with a $5,000 bonus. So I was like, oh my God, that's the $5,000 I need. I need that $5,000. Where do I? So like she said, I reached out. Yes, Skeptic is my middle name. Terrified. She was, we went back and looked at our first interactions with each other, and I was very cold and very like short with her. Like, what is this? It's nonsense, whatever. So I did go. Like she said, I was terrified. I walked into a room full of women that were chatting about things that I had no idea what they were talking about, and very uncomfortable, and left completely hysterically crying. Thank you, Kelly. And joined and came home like, all right, so I just joined this thing and I'm going to make us some money. So that's what's about to happen. And of course didn't get the support that I wanted at all. I got you can't do this, and what do you, whatever. It wasn't nice. And I was that's when I was like, no, I'm going to do this because now I have a point to prove. And I went in and I started out strong. I got myself to Ruby. I got him to Ruby. But I didn't get where I wanted to be as fast as I wanted to be. And I kind of felt like a failure. I felt like maybe he was right. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe this isn't for me. Maybe he was speaking exactly what I was thinking and feeling. And so I kind of backed off. And like Kelly said, she was, what's going on? What are you doing? Come on, let's do this. And it took a while. I went to conference, which was probably one of the best things I could have done, and came back ready to go. And through this, I had been working, very, here and there, building, charting, all of that. But I was really, really, for some reason, focused on getting my husband's chart finished. I wasn't even looking at mine. Mine was just like off to the side. And it was all about, okay, I'm going to get him here. I'm going for him to get him wrong. And Kelly's like, why are you doing this? Why are you focusing so much on getting his chart to there and not focusing on yours? So do both of them, or do yours first and then do his. And I was like, it's just easier for me to work on his chart. For whatever reason, it was easier for me to fill his and focus on his, and I'm going to do this for him, but it was for us. And then I don't know, something changed, and I was like, no, I'm going to do this for me. And I did it. I went diamond, and I was diamond by, I don't know, noon on the 31st, and I still had him to finish. And then by 7 or 8 o'clock that night, I got him to diamond, and I was like, good night.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, no, we can't go to bed. Jody's still going. So we got Jody there. And yeah, so it was good.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. So, I mean, I know you wanted to like go over the part about your husband, but you have no idea how many women go through that of their husbands not being supportive. It's so huge, and it takes such a toll, and it creates so much conflict at home, because then, the husbands see you on the phone and it's a problem. And so how did you do that?
It was, I laid it out, and I specifically said, look, this is what's about to happen. I am going to be working my tail off, and I'm going to need you to understand that, because I'm making this happen. So whatever. And so he was like, fine, I'm down with that. And he literally took over. He would come in from work. I would leave. I would go do my thing. I would check in. What do you need? I'll help you with the kids, getting them to bed, get back to work. And he did it. He was doing the dinners and the baths and all of it. And he's thrilled.
Yeah. Sure.
He's like, yeah. He's like, now what? You going for double? All right, I got this. I'll take over. You go do your
Oh
thing.
my gosh.
So, yeah, but I laid it out. I was like, look, this month and next month is going to be crazy. I'm not going to be able to help the way I wanted, that way I do. I want to do this. So I need you to support this and just let me work. And he was like, fine. And he would say, like, on Fridays, I'll deal with the kids this weekend. Go do what you got to do. And I would be at Kelly's house, or we would be setting up work things. So, and he was great about it, which was a huge turning point. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think because my husband was hesitant at first. I mean, he supported me in the sense that it was like, as long as this doesn't inconvenience me, then you can do whatever you want. And then the moment that it started where it's like, well, I, didn't clean the house today because I was working, or I didn't make dinner because I was working, then it became a problem. But then there was a certain point where he started to see how I was changing and how I was acting and growing. And then I think that was his turning point. He could actually see that this was going to go somewhere, and bigger things were happening than, there was more at stake than just the house being dirty. So
Right. Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because laundry went left, dishes, he would come home, dishes were in the sink, and he's like, why aren't the dishes? Because I just didn't have time today.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That is awesome. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's so huge. Well, that is amazing. So, what do you think, what was the shift for you that like, what made last month so special, so different?
I think conference and just hearing Mark, like, green light, clap, clap, go, like, just get it done. What do you want? Like, it's there for the taking. And I think that just really, just being there really gave me the boost that I needed to come back and, like, get going and stop sitting and stop watching, and just being surrounded with all of these people that, like, we talk to all the time, or we watch, or we, have messages back and forth, that you actually meet them and you're in the same room and you're talking. It just really made everything come together. Because it really is so much bigger than you sitting in your office or in your bed or in your living room working. It's so much bigger than that. And I think it just really hit home. Like, all of these people are working for the same thing, and we're all on the same page, and we're all just, like, supporting each other and cheering each other on. And it was really nice. And I think that really made it, because I texted my husband when I was there. I was like, next year we're coming together and we're going to be on the floor. And he's like, what are you talking about? I was like, that's just what's about to happen. He's like, okay.
Yeah.
So I think that's it for me.
Yeah. It's huge. You go and then you see that everybody's normal, and there's nothing special about them. They're just a normal mom that wanted, more. And it's like, that's me. Like,
right.
Yeah, it is. It's a mental thing, because you're sitting at home and, like you said, you're in your bed or you're in your office, and it just doesn't feel like you could do something so big. And when you go to conference, it's like you hear the stories, you see the people. Everyone's just normal.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly what it was. It was like, oh my gosh, look at all of these people, and we're all just in it for the same thing.
Yeah, that is cool. So now that you were that person that was, like, hesitant and you gave pushback, how do you handle those responses when you get them? What do you think? Do you do anything different, or what do you do?
I move. I honestly, I'm not pushy. I move on. Like, if you aren't there, you don't want it, like, you're going to be still watching, because I feel like those are the people that are watching you the hardest, are the people that are like, no. Those are the ones that are, like, filling your page all day with comments or, like, likes and this and that. Like, I just feel like in their time, they're going to come around. I'm not going to pressure you. I'm not going to, like, push it on you. Cool. It's not your time. Let me know when it is. And there's been a lot of people that have, like, come around full circle at this point. Like, no, I don't want that. No, that's, it's scammy. It's, whatever. I don't get that. And then, weeks, months, maybe 6 months down the line, here they are, like, hey, I'm interested now, or I want to try that now. And it's just interesting. to see how it goes. But I just let it go. I just move on. There's somebody else after you, and we'll just keep going until you're ready.
Yeah. Wow. And have you been doing like just Facebook, or do you do Facebook and Instagram?
I don't touch Instagram yet. I can't get my head wrapped around it. I mean, I have an account and I've had it, just before with my kids and pictures of them on. But for work purposes, I don't use it. I'll post on it occasionally, but I don't get the whole like message people thing on it. No, I do Facebook all the time. So.
Yeah. Okay. And then like on Facebook, you're doing just host to post over there.
I do the host to post, messaging, posting. Yeah. All of the stuff that the tools that we're given, I follow.
Yeah. Wow. That is so cool. And so for your husband, did you, did like you create a Facebook account for him, or is it just on your Facebook? Like anything? No, just on yours.
All me.
Wow.
Everything is, I had him post for me a couple of times, host to post. I'm like, throw this on your page for me.
Yeah.
But he doesn't ever go on Facebook. And so it really, I don't, all mine.
Wow.
And I can, all.
Yeah. So. And so what would you say, did you come up with like any kind of formula, like your number? Did you figure out what your number was before, like what was your number to sign somebody daily?
You know what? I need to work on that. That's something I really need to work on. Because, what's your number? I could tell you it's 10 a day, but that's not, I don't know, it's not really realistic for me. Like 10 days I'll sign 8, 9, and then one day I'll sign 1.
Okay.
So I don't know.
So how many?
Hard to say.
Do you think you send a certain amount of messages out, or are you focused more on how much time you're spending on your business?
No, it's not time. It's definitely like, did I get out what I needed to get out? How many host posts do I have up? Have I met the 10 minimum requirement for the day? And work from there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So then you'll just ask as many people as it takes to get at least 10 up.
Yes.
10. Okay. That's cool. That is cool. And then, like you said, sometimes you'll get like 8 or 9, and then some days you'll get 1. I mean, those are amazing numbers. Those are awesome. And then on your just like DTs, so because host to post and messaging, are you finding that you're sending distributor messages, or are you just doing customer messages?
It really just comes from when you're explaining the agreement, 3 months or $50, blah, 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 and they're saying, well, I really just want to try the coffee. Well, if you want to try the coffee, we have this deal going on where you can join for $20 and become a distributor, and then you'd have that. And so it's like that, and people love that. Yeah. People are like, I'll do that. And then it's a matter of following up and saying, look, how did you like that? You bought the business. Are you interested in working? Because I just put couple customers under you. If you get a couple more, now you can get $100 shopping spree and get more coffee. And it's really about just getting that initial movement going for them. Like what do you mean? $100?
Right.
Huh?
Right. Those small wins. Those just a little bit. Mm-hmm.
And then just seeing, obviously I lean on Kelly for everything. And she's amazing. And so, it's really about, and then she's really good at getting people fired up and excited. Yeah. And so when you have to pull in Kelly to help with that, she's all about it. She's like, sure, I'll talk to them. What do you have to talk about? I'm like, awesome.
Yeah.
So she,
she's awesome. Definitely. And do you do like, how do you keep in touch with your team? How do you like to like message, like Facebook Messenger, Marco Polo? I know like there's so many different ways now.
Oh, well, Kelly's really actually led us in a huge thing, and we've just broken off into smaller groups where we're all now starting to take our own
Okay.
teams, and running our own show kind of, but I feel like she's still guiding me to teach them because this is new for me. I don't know how to do this. I can run a classroom, I can run a bunch of kids, but it's different. And so I feel like I'm still learning so much. And so I lean on her and then I can spread the word, but it's really coming from asking her, okay, now how do I do this next? You know, what do I do? Okay. So, but yeah, we've all broken up into our own teams, but we have one team page that we all can pull from and then go back to our teams.
Nice. So what is your biggest tip for somebody on your team that maybe they've been sitting, not going anywhere, but they're not giving up? What do you tell them?
I don't even know. Like, let's get you go. Like, why do you want this? I mean, let's go back to that. Why do you want this? Why did you join? Like, and you're still here and you still want to work. So like, what's keeping you from moving forward? Is it not because there's some people that I have that really need to understand the business, like the whole business before they can move. They want to know every single thing. And I didn't start like that, nor could I tell you every little thing at this point. I really just did it and asked questions. What do I do now? How do I do this? What do I do now? And learned that way. I'm not going to sit down and read every document in the document library to read. That's just not how I work. But I have some DTs that are like that. And they're like, okay, I need to read up on fast start bonuses. I need to read up on, and I'm like, just ask. You're going to, it's quicker. And like, but they just need that. That's how they learn. That's their style, you know, like that's not my style. So I think it's important. And this goes back to teaching, is to really understand how people learn. What kind of learner are you? Are you an auditory learner, a visual learner? I'm a visual learner. I need everything. I need to see everything. So when Kelly's like, okay, blah, 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 and I say to her, you could be speaking another language right now. You understand that nothing you're saying, write it down. Like text it to me, give me a picture. Like I don't work like that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important. We're all a certain type of learner, whether it's a visual learner, a tactile learner, a kinetic learner, an auditory learner. Like, figure out how your people work best. Like, what type of learner are they? And kind of go from there. For the auditory people, then just send them a voice memo. For the visuals, then send them a picture. You know what I mean? And that's just the teaching background coming out.
Yeah. No, that's important. Yeah. That's huge. That's something that I'm definitely running into now, learning that that people definitely need to see different tools and, like you're saying, teaching styles. But that's going to come in handy so much for you, knowing how to do that.
Yeah, I guess that plays also into that whole the personality colors. Are you
right?
Blue, yellow, whatever. It probably overlaps in some way. So
yeah, for sure. Well, that is so awesome. So let's see. Do you have kids?
I do. I have two daughters. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's what you were saying. So how, and you said your husband is like in the evening, he's helping you more. And then during the day, are you working?
Well, my 7-year-olds, they're both in school my 7-year-old's in 2nd grade. So she's in school now. My 4-year-old's in preschool. She goes 3 days a week. So, those 3 days that I have, like I'm either with Kelly at her house, or we're meeting somewhere for working, or we're on the phone working. And then Mondays and Fridays are my more difficult, more challenging days because I'm with the 4-year-old and, you know, we're running around, and I'm trying to keep her occupied. And then, yeah, Saturdays and Sundays, he's been taking over and helping out and doing all of that, which is great.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't, but, you know, they have activities and parties and all of these things that they are attending. And so it's just, you know, I'll say like, oh, I can take her to that party. Like, and I'll take, you know, a break if I've been working all morning and I plan on working all night. Like I'll take it, you know, a 2-hour birthday party break or whatever. But yeah, he's been helping out. So it's great. Yeah.
Yeah, that is awesome. So last month, your commission check was $90. I was like, Kelly, that's insane.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was
$90. And now this month, like, I can't even imagine, like, you have 2 diamonds under you and you're diamond yourself.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I cannot believe she said that. Yes, it was 90.
I'm sorry. If I wasn't supposed to say anything, I'm sorry, but that was so huge. Like, that's life-changing.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what this is.
I know, right? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know. Isn't that crazy? Because honestly, I kept building him. So his checks were always so much bigger because the volume, I just would put the volume under his side. I'm working on his chart, and his checks were big and mine were getting smaller and smaller. And last month it was $90. And I was like, oh my God, I got paid $90. You kidding me?
Oh my God.
So, yeah.
Oh my God.
And that might have contributed to my like flip, like, oh no, I can't keep going like this.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no, that is insane. That is a story. Like you have an amazing story. That is so awesome.
Oh, thank you.
So awesome.
Thank you for having me. I've never done this before, so this is a first.
I've never done this before. Kelly pushed me to do it. I was like, and when I saw your message that you were so nervous, I'm like, oh my gosh, good, because I'm so nervous.
Good. Well, you did great.
Yeah. Well, Kelly's awesome about like that whole, you know, what did she say? You said it perfectly. Do you need a hug or do you need a kick in the butt? And it was like, well, maybe at that moment I need a kick in the butt. Like, make me do it.
Yeah. Exactly. She's good at that.
Yeah,
she
for
is
sure.
good at that, and good at letting you sit in your stuff.
Yeah.
And then like pulling you up and being like, "Come on, let's go." Yeah.
That's enough. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. Well, I don't want to take any more of your guys' time and your night. I appreciate it so much that you guys came on here. This means so much to me. This was awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. That was so fun. I'm so proud of you both. Way to rock on, girls. Go get those doubles. Go get those double diamonds. Let's do it.
Gotta do it. Gotta make it happen.
Well, you just stepped into leadership big time, so there it comes right down the pipe.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Cool. It's very cool.
Yes.
Thank you, Kelly. All right.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yay.
Thanks so much, Kelly. Thanks for pushing me to do it. I hope everybody loved it. I'm sure they did. You guys are both awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.